I'm Lady Zelda. Welcome to Vale Keep.
And hello everyone, how are you? My dear friends, welcome to Vale Keep. It's been a minute since we've been here. Let me turn to sound down on this thing. How are you? How are you? Oh, let me do this. My sound is going all over the place. Let me do this. Let me do this. There we go. Got the do not disturb. How are you? I hope you are well. We've got a lot to talk about tonight. And just wait until you, I'm going to let a few people come in. I know we've got many that are watching right now. And if you'll do me a favor, please hit the subscribe button and please put your DNA, your little DNA on the like button. That would help me. And I'm sorry, I've got a Ricola that I'm dealing with allergies. I hope you are all well. I've got the fireplace going. I've actually covered the fireplace here. Thank you so much, my darlings. Thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. You're so kind. Thank you. Lord Greggor just got back from Vienna, and we had a little news that he's taking it okay. He's taking it very well, better than I would. But before we begin, I got to tell you something. Remember Monday, I kind of begged off I was out. Well, I did a little something, you guys, and it's okay to laugh. Because, you know, I go to bed at night, and it was Sunday night. After we had our call, he was home. You know, we decided to, because he needed to rest, we decided that we just needed to, like, hang up early instead of talking, because he tells me all these stories and everything else. And I have a funny story I want to tell you anyway. So the funny thing, my darling, is this. I'm reading my Kindle, and I've got these scrumptious books on Kindle that the mister has bought me. And he bought me one that was from Christmas, and I haven't finished it yet. So I thought, ooh, I'm gonna get in there, and I'm going to be doing my thing. Well, let me tell you, I have my iPad. Give me a second. Let me show you my iPad. Hello. This thing, y'all know what and look, cats. Oh, God. You know, you can't have anything, right? I have my iPad, and I'm laying in bed, like, reading my iPad. I must have fallen asleep, and the iPad came crashing down on my face. I'm going to tell you, I came up out of that bed. It was like I heard the song, everybody was kung fu fighting. Seriously. You know, after we do these crime cases, that's the first thing you think of is, oh my gosh, somebody's in the house and I just got hit. Well, I got hit from my own little, you know, who sits there with an iPad in front of their face and boom, done. Oh my goodness. Well, this eye was red on the inside. It still is. Broke some little capillaries in there. And woofy. It hurt. I mean, it was something to laugh about, right? We have to laugh. You got to laugh. But it was like, you know, and I'm Lord Greggor, and sometimes because he doesn't have the iPads, and he doesn't have that, you know, this is not his world. This is his world. This is not his. We're blending worlds together. So it's like he just looks at me, Vienna, are you okay? Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah, I'm okay. I did call my doctor, and I called Captain Harris, or I told Captain Harris here. And so we decided I'm okay. But I learned my lesson, and now I forgot I had an Amazon Fire that is a Kindle because my phone is too small, right? If, phone is too small. This is the phone. It's too small. I can't see Kindle. It's going to be the same thing, but my little Fire is perfect. So I just got to make sure that it is charged up and we're ready to go. So that's it. We are in one of the libraries tonight. Yes, there's more than one. I'm going to show you my favorite library at Vale Keep here. We're going to change backgrounds just for a second. I'm going to show you, and then I'm going to tell you about it. This is one of the pretty ones. This is one that he uses quite often. Okay. Now, what you're going to see behind me now is the older library. You see that? Quite nice. But those areas up in there are older than old. And you got to be careful when you go up there. The stone up in here, because you see these little like stained glass windows. At one time, this was sort of used as a chapel room, and then as things changed and progressed with the keep, then they didn't need it any longer. So they moved a lot of things here. And believe me, there's rooms. There's a room out here. There's a room out here. And then there's an entrance right above this candle. Well, you go through there. I mean, so you come through at every angle. The idea of having a library like this, because it's not central to the keep, but it's central location enough that if you're staying there, if you are a guest at the keep and you didn't have anything to do, because back then you didn't have a remote, you don't have TV, and blah, blah, no Kindles, you could access the library from wherever wing and come in there and relax. There are tables here, back in here, back over in here. There's an area for tea. There's tables here. There's a tea crock right here. There's all kinds of different areas that you can be in. That's what it's for. It's for kind of like this chapel. But unfortunately, my darlings, this up in here is starting to wear. And it's starting to fall. Starting to fall apart a little bit. That's what's happening. And so, yes, they did use this as a chapel. At one point, pardon me, they used it as a chapel at one point, and then it was used, they moved things around. That's just the way it is. So it is very amazing, and if you saw it in person, it's a little overwhelming. And so I will be mainly in this room. I don't know if I'm brave enough to go up here because these balcony lofts are not really stable, and there's a lot of books up in there. And at this point, my question to, I don't say the Lord for that rate, you know what I mean? I don't sit here and say my question to the Lord, because which one, who are we talking about forever, So Lord Greggor, we have to figure out what can be saved and what can't be saved. Because, my darlings, some of these books have not been opened since they were put there. Back into the 12, 13, 1400s. A lot of, pardon me, a lot of them in this room are theology books. Pardon me. Wow. They are theology. Give me a second. I'll tell you what, the pollen here, 3 days ago we were freezing. Today it was 84. I know you have that. So this is why, because this place is too big for him to sit in. So this is why he has migrated over to this room. And when you go out this door, it leads to an area of his private spaces. I'm not going to show you those. But see, this is much nicer and has been, because the keep has been added on as time and time goes on. See, you can see there's some up here. And these are based off the pictures that he sends me. So that's here. But we have news. But first of all, I got to tell you a story. I got to tell you a funny story. So Lord Greggor is in Vienna. He has 2 people with him. Now, he went there to find out about the inscription in the passage, and I'm going to show you something in a minute. And so they were going to a lot of monasteries. They were going to a lot of different, the people that they know. He knows a lot of people in Vienna, so okay, good. They were in this, it wasn't a pub. I can't explain it. It wasn't a tavern. No tavern girls, hello. It wasn't a tavern. It kind of looked like, it was just old world. I'm just going to say an old world place. And I guess it kind of was a pub. I don't know. Anyway. So he was with these 2 gentlemen. The one's name is Valdemont. Nice man. His family has known Lord Greggor and he lives near the keep, and he's like Lord Greggor's right-hand man in this whole renovation construction thing. So they were there. They had sat down. Lord Greggor decides he wants to call me, FaceTime me, whatever it is. Yes. Okay, so we're on here, we're talking. And Valdemont is sitting close. Now, I've seen him before, and we've not really said too much. Like when they have a special room at the keep that is close to the guardhouse, that they keep all the maps, all the plans, all the architecture of things, right? And they keep it away because what if something happened? There's a lot of things in there that are flammable, so they just keep it away from things. So we're talking. And when Lord Greggor is with these people that speak German, his voice, his accent is so thick that even I sometimes, have to look at him and say, sprechen Sie langsamer bitte, which means slow down so I can understand. And then he'll kind of grin and, but he gets, and that's cool. They're sitting there talking. Valdemont does not speak a lot of English. So his English is broken. My German still needs help, and it's still broken. But we get along. So somebody saw Lord Greggor. He gets up and he goes, I'll be back. I have to go talk with them. Da, da, da. So Valdemont has the phone. We're sitting there. We're trying to talk pleasantries to each other. And I say to him, Dein Name ist Valdemont? And he says, Ja. Valda. They call him Valdi or Valda, so they don't have to be so formal all the time. Okay, so Lord Greggor comes back and he's sitting there, and they're both looking at me on the screen. So Lord Greggor is kind of grinning because he knows I'm painfully trying to get through this, and that I've been a bad girl and not really been practicing for when I go over there. All of a sudden, he says, Ja, mein Name ist Valdemont. And I don't know what came about, but I started, Valderie, Valdera, Valderie, And just as I did that, somebody over somewhere who was not even part of the conversation starts singing, going, "Baldara, ha, 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 Baldari," and the whole place is laughing. Valdi is sitting there laughing. His poor little face is red. He's so cute. His face is, kind of a... Lord Greggor is smiling from ear to ear, looking at people, and he's like, Vienna, die Amerikanerin. Ich bin eine Amerikanerin. Das ist gut. So that, I thought that was the funny thing, so hey, you cross barriers with music, and that's what I told him. But anyway, I'm very, very thankful that Valdi was there, because the one thing that, and here's the thing, when he speaks on these that you hear, sometimes I have to write them out in sentences in English and say, this is how you say this, and this is how you say this, because when he and I speak together, it's broken, half English, half German, half whatever. We make things up, who knows? And so that's how we talk. Sometime I'm going to let him do that. Not let him, I don't tell him what to do, but one time I'm just going to say, be yourself, go for it. And then you'll say, Zelda, please, please put this back to what we know is normal. So they're there. They went to the monastery. Now what I'm going to show you is this. This is a photograph of the passage that is under the guardhouse that they, and I'm sorry, I need to clean my glasses. The passage that is under the guardhouse that they found, and they found this inscription. And Lord Greggor knew that it was serious enough that he wanted to make sure, because frankly, the thought process was that this place is old enough that they would dig what they call the medieval wells. And that's what he was thinking. It was just a medieval well that was down here, and that passage was for whatever, maintenance, whatever the thing. And that, that was what we were all thinking. That's really what we were thinking. He and Valdi and a lot of the other people were thinking, because he does have engineers, he does have all this other. Thank you, my darlings. So when Lord Greggor got down there and he really looked at it, this is sort of, now I've cleaned this up a little bit, because otherwise all you would see is a wall that had moss and mold on it. Oh, yippee. Well, thank you very much for being here. So I have cleaned this up a little bit and tried to do some things with it. Forgive me, but this is really what it looks like. Here we are. That's it. You see the inscription there on the right hand. Now I'm going to tell you, because it is in Latin. Lord Greggor got the, he got it transcribed, I guess, while he was there in Vienna, to the best ability that he could. This is the best ability that they could. But also, while you're looking at this, I want you to note, hello to each and every one of you coming in, bless you. I want you also to note, my darlings, the walls. The shape of the walls, that green is mold, because this is on the side of where Vale Keep, and there's a huge like drop off, like cliff that goes down. I always call it the moat. It is not. There's no moat there, but I have to give them a hard time. And it goes down into this big waterway. Well, after years and years, so I cannot read you the Latin. But what I will do is read to you what it says, the inscription of what it says, and it is this. What is closed below, let it not be opened. The custody, which in, pardon me, the way that it was explained to me in Latin, the word custody could either be seal, guard, or something in that regard. So basically the custody, seal, or guard, if broken in the end, but it says formally the exit, which would mean the outcome, escape as follows. The bottom line is this, my darlings. It ain't good. Because this is meant for something that needed to be or should be contained. It is used in some types of occult sentences, occult type things. That's the closest. It may be wrong, but that is the closest to the Latin inscription that they can get. Now here's where they aged it, because some of these, because you know, you can tell the age of some of these things by the way that they, and hello to each and every one of you coming in, the way that the letters are made and there's dots and so forth. They date this to 1375. The year 13, give or take, and of course me being the American says, oh wow, Lord Greggor, that's even older than you are. Poor guy. But I've always been like this, so he knows what he got into. So this is 1375, which frankly, this blows my mind, because what I'm told is, oh, this is pretty young compared to some of the things that they have seen, like from the 1100s, like 1190, because what they were comparing this to in this monastery that they were, there was one from the year 1190. There was one from 1213. Then there was another one from 1266. So I asked him what he's going to do. Now this stuff doesn't scare him. You know, he's got the catacombs underneath. Catacombs kind of scare me, honestly, and I'm fearless. But it doesn't really, there's one part here I wanted to read to you, and I can't remember where this is. Where is it? He sent me everything. The worst part of it is he sent me a lot of things in Latin. And I told him, I said, oh, that's nice. How am I supposed to read this Latin? It's hard for me to get through. It's hard for me to get through English sometimes, forevermore. So anyway, my darlings, there was one. Give me a second. I just want to really look for this. Where is this? Maybe I'll have to tell you later. Because there was something from Sweden also, you know, and it's amazing because quite frankly, there are many times you just don't know what's underneath these things, right? Give me a second. I thought I saw it here. Oh, well, okay. You get the gist of it. So this is what he's going to be doing. This is what he's going to be doing. We don't know. He's not going to go down any further. He's not going to be, oh yeah, definitely, Stefaletti. I'm going to be wearing gloves. I'm going to be actually wearing like mask and stuff when I get into these books. Maybe not on the first level. If I go up any higher, I don't know if I don't even know if I am. I don't know if I will go up, because you don't know what you're going to find. None of this old stuff. And yes, this matters to him, but so what they're going to do is just seal this. They're just going to go in and seal it. They're just going to seal, they're going to pour rock down in there. I don't know how they're going to do it. Don't ask me, because they're not using any type of heavy duty machinery like modern machinery. They're going to be using so this isn't part of the stairway or whatever. No, this is part, and just give you an idea. During the renovations of Vale Keep, they're tearing down one of the guard towers. Why do they need a guard tower any longer? I mean, this took a collaboration of Lord Greggor, his lawyer, his barrister, a couple of other people, because he's pouring so much money into this. And I want you to remember, you see these programs on YouTube about these beautiful big homes, castles, chalets in Europe that people just can't afford. They can't afford. Now, he can afford it, but the question is, why? And he and I talked about that, because Vale Keep is no longer that fortress any longer. Vale Keep was never that high dynasty British fortress castle. This is continental noblemen. This is continental Europe. And it's more based on, I'm going to say, military versus, because that's what he is, versus that very high and Downton Abbey type thing. It's not that at all. So this was not on any staircase. It was not, this was while they were digging and tearing down this one guard tower when they first started. And because the idea is they're tearing it down, and whatever is usable, he is donating to people from the town, from villages, from everywhere. They're rebuilding buildings. They're repurposing a lot of the materials if they can. If they can't, they're going to destroy them. So so it's not in the keep, and it's not, it was in the guard place, and that's where they thought this medieval well was. So that's how that is. The tower was placed in that particular location because in that location is where you could see if you were going to be attacked, if somebody was coming and had something nefarious that they were going to be doing, nefarious. So that's where this is now. Now here is, hello everyone, come on in. Now here is the news that he's kind of had a hard time handling. And I've had a hard time handling I'm not going to go to all that trouble to go in here into these. I'm not going to go. There's certain books I'm going to be chronicling while I'm there and journaling. Probably some of these books aren't even fit to open any longer. And after they've been together and not opened, it's very hard. Now, we may get a university from somewhere, Prague, somewhere to come in. I don't know. But at this point, we're getting ahead of ourselves. So here's the thing. Since he has got back from Vienna, there's a collective decision that if they found this passageway in the guard tower, what else are they going to find? He was always told by somebody that there's some secret, you know how they used to build these castles and craziness, escape things and whatever. He said they're probably all over the place. He just doesn't know it. So at this point, here is the big question is this. First of all, look at those walls. And they are finding that as they get into more and more of the renovation. And I'm just going to tell you, when we first really started feeling our oats, had started having feelings to each other, which was like last year, he would take me around at night and with his phone, and he would show me, look at this, look at this, look at this. Well, in these castles during the wintertime, you block off wings, because why build fires and keep things going? Nobody lives there. He has a steward. He has the steward's wife. No, there's just nobody there except him, and then a few other people that come in and out that he has working for him and so forth. But there's just there's nobody. Why keep that up? He's pouring a lot of money into this. So when he took me around and it was cold, you could see his breath while he was walking in some of the areas of the keep. And I said, aren't you cold? And he goes, no, not really. I mean, it's just, this is it. Because when you think about it, look at the floors. They did replace this floor in here, but most of the flooring is stone. The walls are stone. He opened up the door to the one wing, and I'm telling you, these doors to the wings are like huge. When he opened up that, there was ice on the walls. Like if you went into the wing, there were ice, and there was ice on the walls, on that stone, freezing cold. And so for anyone that thinks it's so romantic to be associated with these castles, think about this. There's absolutely zero heat in these places, except for fireplaces. And if you run out of wood, fuel, whatever the case may be, you're hosed. There was like this much, this wide of ice. And I said, oh, geez, shut that door. It makes me cold. I'm clear over here. And he goes, see, that's why you keep those closed. See, I'm learning things I just never even knew before. So here's the thing. When all that ice melts in the spring, when he came back from when he was here in January, he went back and he went to the understable. And the understable is for animals, and that's where the horses stay, and Bran and whomever stay when it really gets cold there. Pardon me, tickle. When it really gets cold there, that's where they stay. And at this point, when he went back, part of it was leaking. And I mean a serious water running through. So it was an immediate like, oh wow, boom, done, gone. I didn't hear from him for a couple of days. They were down in that daggone stable. And that led him to think, oh my gosh, if this is leaking, what else is leaking? Because see, they had some nice days and it was starting to warm up. And when you have all that ice that's in your castle and you're not building fires to dry things out, where's all that water going to go? It's going to go into the walls. You're going to have problems. You're going to have issues. So longer story short as possible, they're considering taking down a lot of the keep and keeping main areas like the hearth room. I'm going to show you the hearth room. This is my favorite, and as I told him, this room I want to keep right here. That is the hearth room. Now, I put this room in the Christmastide videos. You can see how pretty that is with food and everything else on there for the photograph and whatever. But you can see, look at the ice and the snow on the outside. I love this room. I told him I wanted to keep that room. So he's upset. And if you saw the resurrection tide of him standing on the wall looking out at the sunset, that's when he got back. Now, that's not a photograph. That's just him telling me I stood on the wall and stood there a long time, prayed, whatever, knowing that there's going to have to be changes made. So that's my rendition. That wasn't that was me saying, oh, okay, let's write it down. Let's do this. Let me put you here. The reality is that most of the keep is going to have to come down. And that is heartbreaking. I mean, this is all he's known for a long time. This is what he's known. So, I can imagine when he was telling me, I was crying. Pardon me. I can imagine, but see, he's so stoic. He's just stoic, But there's a lot of work to this joint. And I told him, I said, that's a lot of money. That, why put a lot, here's the thing. Why put a lot of money into keeping, because the fortress is already gone. There's a fortress, and if you look in one of the videos that I made, it's got snow and everything else, and it looks like a window of that is looking at the fortress from underneath the keep. That's it's done. There's no renovating that. No. So I'm going to also tell you, they took me in some of the rooms in video, and the antiques would just make your jaw drop, but they're ruined. And it's because of not having this is no longer a working keep. It's no longer a working castle. It's just not, it's not good business to keep it going, because someday it's going to fall. And there's probably so much mold. And I am actually concerned about going in June, unless he makes other arrangements. Because, sometimes you just get nose blind. And I wonder, because somebody had mentioned because he lets me in on some of these meetings. Do I understand what they're talking about? Mm-hmm. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. But I listen, because I have to. I'm writing down everything. Notebook after notebook after notebook after notebook. There's no way, he's not going to tear down the whole entire keep, no. But there's probably a couple of wings that he's going to take down. He's going to have to. It's mold, and some of it is crumbling. So when they were walking through and opening doors and walking through and opening curtains, this one fellow opened a curtain and it just fell apart in his hand. It was so rotted. I don't say, this isn't really my business. It's his. This is his family home. But the beds are ruined. The furniture is warped. And it smells. I mean, it's moldy, musty, smelly. Now, he has his chamber. I will have mine. And this room is staying, and a lot of rooms, I don't know about the grand library. A lot of it's going to have to be moved out of there. But here's kind of where we're going with this. I believe we're talking about some of these materials, building something for he and I smaller, a small castle, smaller in the same area, and keeping the keep as, keeping this to keep the keep going. But he's pouring money into this and has for years, and it is dangerous. Now, when I move, we'll probably make that our base operation. The horses will stay where they are there because they can't, it would be very hard to transport them here. But depending on what kind of place that I get where I want to go, I might even get Bran. I don't know if you know who Bran is. Bran is the doggy. He's a Newfoundland. And so he would still travel between, but we technically would be based out of, now, some of the things that he could be saving, as in antiques, relics, he would ship to me to keep here wherever I am, wherever I get. So we're not in a hurry for that, because this is going to take time. You know what my concern is? I'm just going to tell you. The animals, we got the animals worked out. When was the last? This is a good question, Starbright, my darling. This is a good question. Oh, look at that little Fluffy. Maybe you already spoke about this. When was the last time someone lived there in its glory days? You're probably talking in the 1800s, late or early 1800s. Early 1800s. He has been there for a long time. When his father died, he was able to go back, and his mother passed away first. His father passed away, and he was able to go back as a steward. And then after so many years, it reverts to him. So that's where it is. So there's not going to be glory days for this place again. Times have changed. The nobleman, the continental nobleman that he is, he still has a place there, but there's no real purpose. I'm not going to move. I'm not going to move. I'm moving from where I am right now. I'm still going to be in the United States. The place that I'm in is temporary. And then we moved here. My son was going to go to university, and we got caught by the C word. And then we just decided to stay because he was going to try to go to university. And then I had given up my place in Tennessee where I was from. And it was just, and we just ended up staying. So he's going to go back and forth and visit, and I'm going to go back and forth, but I'm remaining in the U.S. Pardon me. I'm remaining in the U.S., and he technically is remaining there, but he's going to be here probably more often. Because if you want to know what the area that I want to go to here in the United States probably looks the closest to where he is in Europe. So that's where we are. That's where we are with the keep. So right now, I'm just going to tell you this. No, it's okay, Aunt BB. It's okay. So I'm just going to tell you this. We have just decided that we just continue to hang on. We continue to hang on to each other. We continue to hang on what's important to us. And we live. That's it. We live. So we're going to be saving what we can, what he can. I say we, that's loosely. We're going to be saving, he's going to be saving what he can. They're going to be building, something safer and, because God forbid, like I said, And for those of you who hadn't seen, this is the library. This is the main library. And this used to be a chapel room. But look at the books. And my friends, some of these books he doesn't even know. They're not chronological. They're just not. I mean, here I am, this Dewey Decimal System, right? Oh, we need to have. But this up here is not safe. This up here is not safe. This right up in here, the chimney, this looks a not like. I have made this look nicer so I can present it here, but I'm just going to tell you something. So this is, I reimagined this. I'm going to tell you, this is not a real photograph. I reimagined this. It's all the parts are the same. It looks the same, but I made it look prettier because you don't want to see missing. It's these railings up here. Now this looks bad. They're broken. Look, see, it's all wood. And you know, wood doesn't last forever in these places because with the, and here's the thing, there is a fireplace on this end, and then across the room, like where you are, my darlings, there's a fireplace over there as well. So there's a fireplace on both ends, and it's to keep this entire room warm. And you have all these entrances and outlets and, you know, hello, when was this place built? In the 1200s? Yes. So it was definitely built before Greggor's family got there. So here's the thing. We're going to do the most important things. I'm going to sit in the kitchen. Come sit in the kitchen with me and have tea, which I want to show you something really cool. Oh yeah, the moisture. And I'm going to tell you, you see how I am now. Can you imagine me going over there? And now, when I do go over, he's adding the staff back. There, you know, I'm going to be there long enough that I'm going to be meeting people and all that. But it's not going to be the heavy, high cotillion, curtsy, hello, blah, blah. But I still have to know a lot of things. I want to show you guys something, and I think you're just going to, I know you're going to love it. Give me a second. Give me just a second. So that's why we're doing what we're doing. And it is what it is. It is what it is. So are we sad about it? Yeah, he's you know, he doesn't show his feelings. I'm just going to tell you that. He's very cautious. Always has been since I met him. He's always, I mean, we say, you know, mortal love words to each other, that sort of thing. But he's not one to, you know, wail and gnashing his teeth and, you know, throw himself on a sharp object and all this. He doesn't have that crash out type thing, right? Oh, this place, and I have seen pictures from the 1800s. This place still is very magnificent. It's just in disrepair. Who's going to take care of this joint? You know what the first thing that I told him when he first decided, you know, the night of the ring and all this, and we're talking about it, and I told him, I said, look, pal, look, I have a hard time keeping care of what I have right now. Who's going to clean this joint? Because it ain't going to be me. Because by the time you get done cleaning, you'd have to start off. You might get it done in a year. You'd have to start all over again. That's not my gig any longer. Not going to do that. But he's so, that's the part that I want him to save. This hearth room. See, this goes back into here, and there's another room back in there that they call the larder. That's the pantry and all this. And I embellished this up. It's just very plain. Everything in there is very plain. You know, some of these, like in this, this is my favorite library here. I added these plans. Got it, you know. But you're talking continental noble, right? They just didn't do that. He's very stoic, and I can tell it's bothered him. And when he told me, he came back and stood on the wall, not on the wall, hello, by the wall, and watched the sun and was thinking about everything. See, that I can't wait till his book comes out, because he lives his book. He lives his book. Now, I want to tell you something. Well, I try to be practical, and I don't want to cry in front of him, you know, this sort of thing. I've only been around Vale Keep. I mean, I've known the man for 3 years. That's right. Look, I love this. Thank you so much. And if you're watching, my darling, Lord Greggor has lived through so much worse. He just rolls with it. He is a methodical thinker. He always does. You know, if I start here, what happens if I end here? And vice versa. That's how he thinks. I want to show you this because I know you're all going to love it. Maybe. Where is it? Okay, here we are. I've got to show you this because I know you guys would love seeing it. I got to show you this merchandise, and especially, and I know Aunt BB is going to know this. Now, check this out. Wait, let me see what you're seeing here. There we go. The merchandise is linked in the bottom here. Let me see if I can make this a little larger. Can I? Yeah, there we go. These are the cups, and if you're having a hard time reading them, they say, drink tea, pace castle, and repeat. That, of course, is a tumbler with his, and I'm going to show you right now what his, this is this. Now, I'm not offering this sweatshirt because this doesn't show up very well in black, but that's basically, that's it. That's the Lord Greggor. Now, let's see. Let me take you back here again. You're going to love this. And this comes from an old joke. Here is the, now, these right here, my darlings, this is what I designed to put into Vale Keep. I don't think it's going to happen now. These are the brocade. This is one of the brocade, actually not brocade, it's damask. But my darlings, it is not going to be damask. It is like what they call a fantasy print. It's going to look like it, but it's not really the embroidery. And there's the other motif that I designed for Vale Keep. That's in there too. Let me get one of these shirt colors that looks really cute. Let me see if we got here. Maybe that will show up. This shirt says, I'm not a hobbit, I'm just old. And then on the, you'll see right here, House of Vale Keep, it's on the shoulder. But there you go, now you can see it. I'm not a hobbit, I'm just old. That's from him as well. And then this is what I just cracked up. Oh no, first of all, here is a deck of cards, and that is the logo of the deck of cards, and that's what it says, House of Vale Keep with Lord Greggor. These are poker type cards, and I'm going to make some to put in my shop and into the shop of True Oracle. These are playing cards. Basically, poker cards are a little bigger. They are perfect if you're reading Cartomancy because you can actually write the meanings on the cards. So those, and I have ordered some samples, so when they come in, I will definitely show you. Now, this is the one that cracks me up. These are soy candles, and they don't smell. They're very, I mean, it is a natural scent. It's not scented, so there's not a big throw. But this is when we were talking about Lord Greggor being a vampire. I don't know if any of you remember. I'm sure you all do. And we were talking about that time. And that's all I have up there for now. There's more that I'm going to put in there, but I wanted to share that with you. And so thank you so much, you guys. I love that you love it. We love that you love it. So the funny part is, and I think Aunt BB remembers this, that we were talking about the vampire thing. Now, my story about with Anne Rice, I don't know if any of you have heard that story. Put a 1 in the chat for me. If you have not heard the story, put a 1 in the chat and I'll tell you really quickly. But it has to do with that story. And he did something that I thought was just so funny that I just couldn't, depending upon, Aunt BB says, depending upon how you want your new smaller home to be designed there, maybe you could use some of the designs you've already, you see how we're thinking about that? We're thinking about just like condensing, I told him, I said, why do I feel like we're retiring? We need an RV and drive to Florida. And he just looks at me. Valiana? He has that very quizzical brow. So serious. So, okay, here's the story. You guys are going to love this. When I was in New Orleans, a few years ago, Anne Rice was still around. I was with some friends, and they said, would you like to meet Anne Rice? And I'm like, oh, yeah, sure, right. And they're like, no, we can go meet her. One of the people, it was a friend of a friend of a friend. I said, oh, my heck, I would love to go. So we went down to the Café du Monde. I want some of that coffee so bad, and I think there's some on Amazon. I have a beignet mix. I just haven't made them. Maybe I need to make them for Sunday. So anyway, we're sitting there, and evidently she is waiting on meeting some vampires in New Orleans. Now, I'm serious. Vampires. And I thought at that time it was a joke. I was reading cards for the Psychic Friends Network, and I just thought, okay, yeah, sure, sure, fine, yeah, okay. We're sitting there, and all of a sudden, this guy comes up. He looks like Jasper from Twilight, that deer in the headlight look, right? And his skin wasn't pale like this. It was ashy gray pale, blue ashy gray. And I'm thinking, what in the absolute heck am I getting into? Well, we're sitting at an outside table. He sat down, and the smell was so putrid. It's chicory coffee, my darling. I love Café du Monde. Oh, I love that place. It's chicory coffee. They have it on, I have to look. It's on Amazon, I think. Oh, I didn't know they had several options on BB. I have to look at it. I think I just like the regular that they have. Now, I'm a hazelnut girl. I like hazelnut. Yeah, so she was doing research for her books, and she wanted to write Lestat, and we were talking about interview with a vampire type stuff, and she hated the idea of Tom Cruise being in that interview with a vampire movie. Yeah, I thought it was kind of odd too, but anyway. So we're sitting there, and this guy smells so putrid that I'm holding my cup. Now, Lord Greggor loves this story. He says I'm pretty animated. I suppose I am. I'm holding my napkin up to my face like this. And I have my cup, and I'm holding my cup up here, so all I could smell was the coffee. And I'm drinking my coffee. I don't care if it was rude or not, the guy stunk. The scary part, there was a guy standing like way over, who had the same look, that jaspery, ashy, deer in the headlight vampire look that and they didn't eat anything. He smelled like he just ate. So I can't, and then I'm not good at flying. So he's standing there watching, and oh boy, he had an eyeball on me. And he's standing there watching. And it was a deer in the headlight, but it was one of those, I see you, like I'm going to do it. Well, here, just a minute, I have a stake that a stake and a hammer in my handbag I'm going to whip out, and we're just going to go to town right here. We were in public, and people were leaving their tables because this guy, and it wasn't like body odor stink. It was graveyard. It was, I can't even think about it. So when I met Lord Greggor, I thought he was a vampire, because I was kind of looking for that stuff. On the talkie tick, I went down that bunny trail looking for vampire, because it was getting to be, and I wanted to do something. And you can hear me in some of these videos, in my past videos, go, oh yeah, I met this vampire. And we started talking, and I just thought he was. And he never corrected me, because he said, no, you don't correct a lady. I made that man wait 3 months before I spoke to him. He sent me a message and said, not how much did I pay for my car insurance. I always, come up with these things that he just doesn't understand. But anyway, he says to me, so I forget what it was. And I said, well, do you have a problem going out in the light? And he looked at me and goes, Valiana, what are you talking about? And I said, well, I hate to say this, but, there's a rumor going around that vampiric. And he goes, my lady, I am not a vampire. I said, but I thought you were. I thought you asked me to come on your show. We were going to put it together. He said, I thought you were going to ask me about vampires, and I could tell you, but I am not one. And I said, thank God, because they stink. Okay. Then it was not long ago, some of you may have been in here in my chat on the other side of the aisle on Seeing Crime, and I said something about a vampire. He comes in, Lord Greggor comes into the chat and says, yes, but I don't smell. I just thought that was the funniest thing. And so that's why I put that on that candle. I just thought that was just a perfect, I don't smell. And that candle doesn't really, and if you order one, don't order one thinking it's going to have this big, beautiful throw. That's what they call the smell of a candle, because it won't. It's just going to have this natural, funny, good smell. And you can look at it and think of him. Captain Harris remembers that one. Yeah, Captain Harris remembers that one. So that's why I put that on there. Now, there was a question about cartomancy. Yeah, I think if I went back to Café du Monde, I would probably order like 13 dozen beignets, and probably just their house, the regular coffee, because that's, there we are. So, Karen, are you still thinking of writing the meanings on a cartomancy deck? I do it for myself, but that right there, I'm just going to say, if you want meanings on your cartomancy deck or your deck, the best thing to do is to get the cartomancy ebook that I've written in the psychic shop. Let me put that up here for you. Where are we? Hello. Here we are. Oh, no. There we go. go there, get the ebook for the psychic shop, and you ended up probably, the best thing to do is write them on there yourself. I write them with pencil sometimes. Now I have a teaching deck. Where is it? Let me grab the teaching deck. I'll be right back. No, that's not it. For all you. Here you are. Hello, cat. Hello, kitty. That's going to be another, that will be another shirt, because instead of him saying, hello, Sammy, he just looks at her and says, hello, cat. Hello, cat. Soy candles, I've just got to tell you, soy candle, it's an earthy, because you know what, some candles nowadays, they put that artificial stuff in it and they smell so fake that it bothers me. But the soy candles are they're so nice because it's a very nice aesthetic. They're really relaxing, but it's this very subtle earthy smell. They're very nice. Yeah. Yes. Jane, I know what you mean. Lord Greggor, or Lord, is picking up a great sense of humor. He does have a great, but it's odd. Sometimes you just don't know. Okay, so this is my teaching deck. This is not a bicycle deck. It's a part of a 3 deck from Elephant Playing Card Company. It is the medieval deck, and yes, I've had this a long time before I even met Mr. And there's a black one, there is the silver one, and then there's the gold one. And so you can see, oh, what card to pick out? Hello, the 10 of spades. You can see, now I've written on these with pen. And all you have to do, I like to write on them with pencil, because as you learn, and I'm going to give you a little hint. Wow, look at the cards I'm picking, 10s. You see that? So as you learn, yeah, they are beautiful. As you learn the cartomancy, the pencil will fade, but your memory will not. That's the idea of it. And the other thing too, you know what I like to do sometimes when I get a new deck of cards, and I got a lot of new decks. That orange deck that I have, that is a fire element. I'm trying to find the water element. And I've written to bicycle, and it's like, hello, you have every other element. Where is the water element? Because I'm a water element. I'm a Pisces. So I like the fire ones, but I'm using them a lot, and they need to rest. So I'm getting ready to break in another deck. Now, I don't know what I'm going to do with that, but if you write your meanings on there, you've got one up on everybody else, and I'll tell you why. You're training your cards to remember what they mean. There is such a thing. Synchronicity, yeah, but you're training them to remember what they mean. So when you're asking the energy and asking them to tell you a certain sort of kind of maybe something, then that particular card will come out and give you what. So it's kind of a one-up, yeah, really, it's kind of a one-up thing. Now, I have those artist pencils. You've seen them. I've drawn with them here. And what I'm going to do with the artist pencils is, I've got some real sharp ones, and I think I'm going to, because I like to train my cards, the meanings. Why not? There's someone coming to visit. Come on, kitty, kitty. They always go for the left shoulder. This is Shaggy, who's purring. Say hello, Shaggy. Hello, cat. Karen, do you mean this link, or do you mean the ones that Lord Greggor has? The ones that Lord Greggor has in his shop, that link will be here in the bottom, and I will most likely link that product to this video if you want to watch it later, or you want to come back and watch it later. But I don't, what deck of cards are you talking about, Karen? This one I don't have a link for, because I just bought these on my own. So anyway, so that's how you train your cards. Because see, you know, tarot already has all of the symbology and so forth on them. So you don't really, I don't like to write on tarot cards. I don't like to. I got to tell you this. I met a new friend today. I'm not going to give you her name. She is of the Hebrew faith. She speaks Hebrew fluently. And it was so nice to talk with her. And if you're watching, thank you so much for the beautiful compliments, because she loved when I was talking about Moshe, the Torah pointer. I love that. I love that. Whatever I have. Okay. The link for Lord Greggor's cards will be in the description, but I will also, well, wait a minute. What am I doing? Here, hold on. Let me see. I'm going to put these in the chat for all of you. There we go. They're $24, but you'll have them forever. And the great thing about this is it's kind of a keepsake. And I'm gonna put them in here for you. There you go. It's kind of a keepsake type thing. And also, I like the poker decks because look, I go to town on these decks. Now, I have a deck around here that is written in German. I need to get that out for you. But here is the 9 of Hearts, which is the yes card. And this yes card, this 9 of Hearts, you see. And then if it's something that you know, kind of, you write it on the side. You see there? Emotional opportunity. It's the wish card. It's the yes card. You know, all those little goodies you put on your cards. That's what you do. Jane got a great question. How do you decide on a new deck? Is it magnetism? Is it energy? Or just how they look? That's a great question. Not really had thought about it. That's a great question. Colleen, I hope you feel better, honey. Just hang out. We're here for you, sending you good vibes. Oh, do you hear him purring? He's mama's honey, I'm telling you. Riley is the one I'd like to have you see. All right. So, like if I go to the pharmacy or something, they always have a section of games and cards. I always look through them. And if they have any type of something that it's just kind of like what jumps out at me, that's it. I actually bought a tarot deck at the $5 store. I used them for a long time, but they're not a traditional deck. Let me show you. Maybe. I got to tell you, if you're watching Lord Greggor, thank you for this Mac. He bought me this Mac computer. It's not a laptop. It's so nice. I don't need a green screen anymore. See this? Look. Hello? You don't know. That green screen behind me was a pain in my honey. This is the deck that I bought at the $5 store. It was just out laying on the table. That's where it is. And that's it, $5 for this deck of cards. The Celestial Tarot deck. I think you can get these other places, but look at the writing on them. Now, I've had these for a long time. A long time. And here's, oh wow, look at this. So look at the 10 of Cups. You see, they look different. Or no, I'm sorry, hello, that's the 9 of Cups. Hello? I don't even know my cards. This is the 9 of Cups. So reading them, and I got to tell you this, I have others, and there's been many beautiful people in this community who have bought me decks of cards. I love them. I use them in personal readings, and I use them, but I think in all fairness, for me, I want that deck of cards that I can look at the camera and explain so you know what I'm talking about. I can't tell you how many times I've looked and I've watched a tarot reader, and I do watch some of them, and then all of a sudden you think, what in the absolute heck are they talking about? And I'm lost because I'm trying to figure out the meanings. So there you go. Thank you. All right. So, oh, Kimberly, thank you, my darling. Thank you. That's very kind. I know he's going to feel better about this. Because, you know, I'll tell you what. We were considering, he was just thinking, well, what are we going to do? Wasn't giving up. But, you know, the whole idea of this was to share our story. Well, we've got a story. Well, believe me. I told him, I said, you don't think this is a story to share? Hello. We start getting into this, and you're sharing this whole thing. They're going to start working on this and sealing this immediately. So there we go. So, so I haven't been posting that much. That's going to change. We're going to get back into that type of thing again. He's just been so busy. Sharon says, I love Vienna. I know. My aunt recorded lots of old records in their library. Yeah. That's where they got a lot of history. That's where a lot of that, you know, occult type stuff. He is very thoughtful, and he's very wonderful to me. Very nice to me. Very good. But yeah, it's just like how you picked out your beautiful ring. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, it's just kind of like that. Oh, well, I kind of need that, right? That's how it worked. Kimberly, nice. Going to put his oracle cards on one set. Nice. Thank you so much, my darling. Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, so that's kind of what's going on with the keep. I'm gonna keep you updated now. Keep you updated now with what's going on and how everything is going and all of that jazz. Because you know, that's what we're here for. And anything that I can show you, I will. We're still big on the privacy. I think we have gotten rid of that one person, I think. But we're just, you know, the one thing he just doesn't want is to, he just doesn't want drones flying over. And that's what one person tried to do. Wanted to do the drone thing. Wait a minute, hold on. Wanted to do the drone thing. That's scary to me. It is to him too. You know, when you get somebody that weird. So yeah. So there's the psychic shop link. That's it, Angie. You guys know some people are scary. Listen, they are. And you know, the reality when you look at these crime cases and you see the lengths that people will go to, it makes you appreciate privacy that much more. I'll show you what I can, you know. I will not be flying on a commercial flight to visit Vale Keep. I cannot stand the flight that long. Being around other people, and what are they stink? What if they smell and I can't get away from them? No, I won't be flying commercial. Yeah, thank you. I think we have it, you know. Yeah, people are crazy. People are crazy. So, and we have our filters up very, very high on this channel, and on mine too. I mean, I have the wannabe psychics that come in and go after my little jugular vein. But other than that, you know, I can handle those. I can handle those. Is Lord Greggor's merchandise on his webpage or on the psychic shop? It is not on the psychic shop. His book will be, though, when we get done with it. But they are linked right here in this on the YouTube channel. They are right here. You'll see them right here, and I will put the link to the shop here. But you should see them. So, and I can, I'll give you that link again. Here, I'll put it in the shop, in the chat. This will take you right to the cards, but from the cards, you can go anywhere else in the shop. So there you go. So there we are. Flying a drone is invading your privacy. Test point. It is. It is. It's, you know. So somebody asked me the other day, and I will tell you this. Thank you, Captain Harris. There, if you look at my beautiful mod, Captain Harris, she put the link. The book will be an ebook, and if you want a hardback or a paperback, we will make those available as well. And it's a different, you'll have to order those. I think you can order them on the psychic. It'll be in the psychic shop. We're going to work all that out. But you can get it as an ebook, or you can get it as a. We were going to try to do something where he could sign it for you. We might do that. We might. I don't know. We got to see. So. Debbie, I have used that stained glass. I have, and I love it. The people who ordered the tier 1111, yes, Sharon. The people who ordered the high numerology, which was a tier 111, would get a tarot reading with that, and I would use it for the tarot. It's beautiful. Debbie got me this beautiful deck. Let me show you. Maybe. This is rude. I've got my back to you, and I don't mean to. I can't find it. Here, yes, it is. Here it is. Here it is. She got me, Debbie got me this stained glass tarot. And I'm very careful with these types of decks because, first of all, it's an honor and a privilege to have them when you send me these, number one. And number two, this is why. I want to show you. Look at the gilding on the edge of this deck. This is why I don't use it a lot, because I don't want that to wear off. And I've had decks where it wears off. These are gorgeous. These are gorgeous. And Look at this. This is the stained glass tarot. Look at the Empress card. Look at that. Oh, and you know what? I said if anyone got the numerology tier 111, and look what number is on that card. Look at the number. That's actually a 3, but it looks like a 111. Synchronicity. Isn't that pretty? She's just beautiful. So I'm very grateful for you. Thank you. And I have that other deck too. Many people send me things on Amazon, and Amazon, the little stinkers, will sometimes not send the gift card that goes along with them. So thank you though. And I want to thank, these are gorgeous. They're pretty, but I save these for private clients, all of these types of, you know. There we are. Okay. Let me see. Oh, could you see Lord Greggor on my back? It's that logo thing, yeah. I tried this, and you see there's the House of Vale Keep right here. But the printer didn't like it. And I thought it came out muddy looking. So we're not going to do the black with this type of thing. So we're going to work through that. Linda says, I don't watch any tarot readers, but you are explaining everything and what not to us, and I get more out of yours than I would of any. Call me a ding dong. No ding dong at all. You know, that's kind of my gig. I've always wanted to teach people. So here's kind of the timeline now, my darlings. This weekend, other than trying to do my taxes, and yes, I do my taxes. I do them myself. Other than doing my taxes, I'm finishing the forensic intuitive tarot profiler ebook that I will have. And that will be for all of you. So that will be in the psychic shop. Yeah, the heart, let me see if there's, let me see if I have the cover. You did make the cover. Let me see if I can grab that cover. So it will be either a hardback or a, wait, no. It's either going to be a hardback or it's going to be a paperback. We're going to give you a choice. Hardback, paperback, or maybe I can't find it. You may have seen it before. Yeah, I can tell you, I am so grateful for this Mac. The storage room, oh my goodness. I'm just so pleased. I was going to make a tarot coloring book. I got halfway done with that and I thought, what is that is that a little silly maybe? Okay, here it is. Let me share this with you. Here we are. All it said was that the black deck was from you, Debbie. I have not opened it to even use it yet. That's how busy I've been. So, thank you, Terry. All okay. Okay, hold on. Thank you. Okay, so here I'm going to show you. I like a hardcover book too, but there's a lot of people that like to download them to their Kindles. I don't particularly like that. I like a hardback. Let me show you the cover, and it's going to be a little better than this, I think. So here is the cover of what Lord Greggor's book will be looking like. That is what it will be like right there. Immortal Principles for Mortal Living. And he lives it too, believe me. So there we go. Thank you, Jane. I appreciate you. I'm getting ready to... Oh, yes, Debbie. Debbie, I remember this. I hope this deck is dark enough. Yes, it was great. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. Hard books and hardbacks last longer, but I think I'm going to offer them in a hardback or a paperback, and then the ebook. So we'll see. We'll see. I want to make sure I keep the cost down, but I'm going to be able to send these to, they'll ship to Europe and all over the place. So that's what I wanted to make sure is the publisher that I'm using. So yeah. So that's it. Well, you know, we got to keep that aesthetic going. You're going to love it. I mean, since I've been editing, obviously, I'm reading it. I'm blown away at some of the stuff that he comes. And of course, I have to edit and make sure that the English is okay. That's okay. That's what happens. I think he did pretty good. He did pretty good on that Resurrection Tide that we posted here. How many cards are in the Catacombs deck? 44. 44 cards in the Catacombs. I might have a Catacombs 2. Don't know. I don't think it's gonna. I don't think it's I don't know what it is, but they're going to fill it if they haven't already. They're going to just seal it and it'll be done. Thank you so much. Look at this. She's on it. 44 cards in the Catacombs. Put a coloring book together. It would be relaxing. Well, I was putting a tarot coloring book together and it's almost done. And then I just thought, do we think that somebody would like that? I don't know. If you think he'd like it, I'll finish it. Because I think I'm almost done. I mean, that's, yeah, doing reverse images like that sometimes. But yeah, I think I'm almost done with it. So here's the thing. Okay, so I've got to finish editing his book. My forensic intuitive are, okay, all right, we'll do that. The forensic intuitive, I will be done with that, like momentarily. All I have to do is design a cover. Thank you, Mary. Okay, I'll finish the coloring book. Okay, okay. Will do. Then, see, I was going to have Lady Zelda cooks from the hearth, as in, let me show you the hearth. Cooks from this hearth. But now we don't know. Now we don't know. So I have, you know, but I'm still going to make it. I'm still going to make that book. And then I have a book that I'm working on, and that is the Seeing Crime. That's the one that I tell all about missing people and all of that and all that. And then I have the one that is on becoming a lady. Becoming the Lady of Vale Keep is what it's going to be. Got a lot of writing to do, but that's my gig. So, all right, my darlings, I will do the coloring book. I will put it up there. Thank you for letting me know. I just thought, you know, Maybe you want it, maybe you don't. And, you know, that's a good way to learn the tarot too, right? That's the idea of me making it. Maybe. I still like to color, but I still like to draw. Sometimes it's not funny. I mean, so sometimes, you know, I make the skull look like it's sitting in a baby seat for the catacombs cards, but there we go. Yeah, I'm going to be working on a lot. My taxes should have been done 2 weeks ago, and then all of this came. And then I don't know when the mister is coming back, but that's okay. He's got a lot to take care of, and I do too. We're going to be putting things together. I just heard an energy at the door. So there we go. And the winner is coloring book. Yes, on to be okay. You got it. I'm going to be working. We'll work on it now. Now listen, don't forget to come Saturday night, because I've got a little something for you guys you're going to really, really like Saturday night. And then, you know, today is Maundy Thursday. If you haven't listened to the Resurrection Tide Day 7, Lord Greggor is very good at this type of thing. And you know, he has one of the copies in his own personal books of the original King James Bible, the 1610 version. I want to see that. I want to see that. That's why he got me mine. So don't forget to come over there Saturday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. Thank you so much. Let me check things out, make sure we're A-okay here. Very good. And I'm getting ready. I've uploaded another Nancy to my channel. So it'll be up and rolling as soon as I put the thumbnail with it. So there we go. Oh, Nanette, okay, my darling. Oh, okay, good, good, good. Well, thank you. But today is Maundy Thursday. Happy Lent to those who celebrate. Happy Lent. Tomorrow's Good Friday. Today, Maundy Thursday, is the commemoration of the Last Supper. So, speaking of which, I haven't eaten yet. So I'm going to go and say goodbye to you, all of you now. I love you guys. You felt like you were singing church. That's Lord Greggor, I'm telling you. Between he and I, we get on these, listen, he and I get onto these theological discussions. Yeah. He's a wealth of knowledge, but sometimes I surprise him. I like those days. My darlings, thank you so much for being here. I'm going to play that little out. I haven't worked on an outro for here yet. I will. But thank you so much for being here. I just love to have you here. Hang out. Say goodbye to everybody. Thank you so much for being so kind to us. Lord Greggor is always so happy to see that, you know, everyone loves the same things that we do. So all is well. And Sunday is Resurrection Day. That is right. That is right for sure. So my darlings, thank you again for being here, being so generous, being so kind. Just remember to always walk on this side of the veil, and all is well. And we'll see you again Saturday night. Bye for now.